Basketball doesn't last forever, but the lessons do. I'm Nick Crossan, owner of EBC Training Centers, and this is Purpose Over Points, a podcast filmed inside EBC, the heart of Washington's premier training center. Purpose Over Points stands apart from your traditional basketball podcasts by blending coaching education, mentorship, storytelling, and the importance of family and community connection. It's not just about developing athletes, it's about developing people. Here we talk about life after basketball and what happens when the points stop adding up and the real scoreboard becomes your character, your purpose, and your growth. Welcome to another episode of Purpose Over Points. I am your host, Nick Crossan. Today we have another special guest. Her name is Talia Walton. She's a former WNBA draft pick, professional basketball player, and one of the most decorated players in the University of Washington's women's basketball history. A Federal A native, she helped lead the Huskies to their first Final Four in 2016, earning all tournament honors and setting a record with 8 threes in a game. She went on to play professionally in the WNBA and overseas and now pours that experience into the next generation as a coach, mentor, and the founder of Limitless Basketball Academy. In her first year as a head coach at Seattle Prep High School, she led her team to a district championship and returned to the state tournament. More than anything, Talia is about developing athletes beyond the game, building confidence, resilience, and purpose that lasts far beyond basketball. Talia, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. One thing that I don't think you even know, I remember vividly when I first reached out to you, we're in the COVID runs, and I remember watching your guys' Final Four run, and you had a special team, but who you are, how you carry yourself, now knowing you off the court, the confidence you had on the court, as an audience and as someone watching on the TV, you're someone that struck me like right away. You are my favorite player on that team by far.
You.
Like I was a little bit like hesitant to reach out to you because I was like, I don't know, like this is a big time girl. I don't know if she'll want to come out and play. And you were so welcoming, so warm. It's been amazing to kind of get to know you more. I'm excited to get kind of going, but you're a very special person. So I want you to know that. And you mean a lot to myself and the basketball community on and off the court.
Yeah, so I appreciate that.
I want to kind of just tap in a little bit and tell me, who is Talia beyond basketball?
That's a hard question to answer because it's always just been basketball.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not playing, it's always basketball. But I think one thing I take pride in the most outside of basketball is being an aunt. Like, well, TT is what they call me. My brother has 3 kids. Sean, he's going to be 15 soon, which is insane. Right. He just turned 12. And then my niece, Rejoice, she is 10. And so if I'm not playing basketball or coaching or whatever, like training, anything like that, like I'm always calling them and being like, what are you guys doing today? Like, or they're calling me, what are you doing today? Can we come over? And so family is very important to me. I really enjoy sometimes just the simple moments, right? Where I can just go to my brother's house. He lives in Puyallup. That drive is like relaxing. Yeah. And I get to get out there and just relax, just be myself, really goofy with them. Me and my brother like to dance, and my brother's a phenomenal singer and he likes to cook all the time. We have this joke that like, it doesn't matter. We don't need a special occasion to like heat up some coals and get the barbecue going. So I know I pulled up last week and he was just throwing on a slab of ribs and I was like, that's awesome. I picked the perfect day. My parents live close as well. They live in Renton, so about 5 minutes from me, so see them often. But yeah, I'm really big on my family. We have a small one, so we're pretty close. And yeah, I have like silly little hobbies. Like, I like to go for walks, be outside as much as possible. I'm like into like gadgets and gizmos, right? So I just got like this new DJI like pocket camera. And like going around recording videos, making content that aren't really like to blow up and go viral, right? Sure. But it's just like fun. It's a hobby for sure. But yeah, it's like, it's nice to try to find more time for that kind of stuff. Basketball can be really consuming, but very thankful for what I get to do. But yeah, when I'm not doing basketball, I definitely like to be with my family and my friends and be outside.
I love that. People know you obviously as a basketball player, but what are things they miss when they think about Talia Walton?
I think being a coach comes with so much like responsibility, and there's a certain way you have to carry yourself all the time. And, obviously I'm a very passionate coach and I think that shows every time I'm in that setting. But I think we were actually doing some team bonding yesterday at Topgolf with my 16U team, and Jade Christopher, I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's probably one of the best point guards to ever come from our state. She's my assistant coach. And so we were out and we had to tell our girls, we're like, you know what, you guys, we're going to have so much fun because you guys got 2 of the most unserious coaches like of all time. And then you put us together and it's just like nonstop tears. I really do prefer to be more like light and chill and happy and easygoing and positive. And like, I'm a very optimistic person. Like, I like to do all that. But obviously sometimes basketball brings out the other sides, right? I think people see more like the serious player, or the serious coach, or the way I approach things. And it's like, yeah, like in those moments, in those spaces, like that's how we need to be. But outside of that, like life is too short to constantly be like stressed and worried and angst and have your jaw clenched. And there is a very like unserious, lighthearted, goofy, silly, like childlike even side to me, that I think if you're always seeing me in a basketball setting, you might not see that as much.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
I love that. That's important to be, like we were talking about that, just being authentic to yourself. And I think it's great because players get to see that, as we know as players, that sometimes if you don't see coach outside the basketball court, it's like,
it's the only version of you they know. And so it's like, you're like, I promise you, there's layers, there's layers, I promise.
Absolutely.
But,
what does purpose over points mean to you right now in your life?
Yeah, I would say it's always bigger than whatever you're doing. But for us, right, it's always bigger than basketball. I feel like a big shift in my mindset this season for Team Walton alone was like, you know, coming up, my name alone, and then trying to like have this big, phenomenal program, like, you know, and it's just like, sometimes when you forget the why or, you know, what you're doing something for, you start to get off track, right? Your priorities shift a little bit, you know, and I just never wanted to take that route. I feel like that's a route that I feel like I see a lot of people take because, you know, most people who try to coach, obviously there's some out there, you know, that just kind of just grab a whistle. But a lot of us actually have played and so take this stuff very seriously. And so I just feel like we got to like reset, recenter. And so like this season, all I was worried about is like exposure and development, nothing else. Like obviously I want to win basketball games. That doesn't dictate the actual success we can have and the impact we can have. And so like taking that step back and remembering like, it's not about the scoreboard or the points, how many this girl's averaging or this or that, like those things come with it, but like the purpose, right? Why are we doing this? Why are we working 9 to 5 as coaches, right? And then coming to a gym to coach 2 to 3 hours of basketball 2 to 3 times in a week. Like sometimes you have to take that step back as coaches. Same thing as players. Like, why am I playing this game? Why am I here? I actually just had that conversation with my 16s and 17s where I'm like, hey, like there's 3 people here that like have a role in your success. Us as your coaches, your parents, and you guys. So like, and obviously God. But I'm explaining to them, like, here are the 3 buckets, right? And I was like, so your parents are making the investment. They're driving you, they're getting you transportation, they're paying the fee. Like, AAU's not cheap. Like, they're making the investment. Your coaches, I gave the 9 to 5 example, and then we pull up to you guys. Like, you guys are our whole world for the next 3 to 4 months. And like, you know, we're doing our part. We're coming with the practice plans. We're being intentional. It's a progression. It's development. Like, we've got a plan. And then I was like, so what are you guys doing? And what prompted this was like low energy, low effort. And I'm like, it's day 4. Like, I was like, so parents are doing their job, coaches are doing their job. What are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? And so like remembering that it's not just about like the outcome, right? It's the process. And I think that that's what I'm super focused on. And not just in basketball and coaching and Team Walton, but like my life, like my everyday, it's just focus on the process, not the outcome. And so I think that if I had to sum up purpose over points, it's process over outcomes.
I love that. And I know I'm excited to kind of tap in more what you're doing, but I do know you are phenomenal at what you do. You have an amazing program. Anyone that's part of your program is very lucky because they are getting coaches who love what they're doing and sacrificing a lot of time and a lot of energy. And you might have resources, but you'll provide those resources. But like you said, they have to do their part too. It's extremely important. I want to peel the onion back all the way back.
Let's do it.
When you were a young Talia. When did basketball become really serious for you?
I would probably say like middle school. Like somewhere between 6th and 7th grade. Like I feel like a lot of these kids growing up to now are these big athletes, right? Like dad was a former NFL guy, so I'm going to NFL, or mom played in WNBA, so I'm like, you know, and like there's always these like connections, these pathways where you're kind of like, oh, that makes sense. For example, like Sarah Strong and her, right? Like it makes sense that Sarah Strong plays basketball. But I didn't really have that. Like my mom is this 5'5", don't get twisted, little firecracker. But 5'5", she ran track in high school, but just, you know, casually. My dad, he's 6'4". He played basketball, but not like, you know, it was more like at school or just at the park with the guys, like that sort of thing. My older brother, love him to death, but there's not an athletic bone in his body. I remember one time I actually asked him, I was like, hey, like everybody's busy. Can you come outside and play basketball with me? And he's like, sure. Like, that was once. When I tell you this man, or at the time, that boy traveled. He picked up the ball and just came running straight through my chest. We were playing on cement, the hoops up on the curb with the sandbag, and I'm like, okay, we're done. We're done. And he's like, no, but I actually credit that to some toughness that was built, right? Like playing on the cement with a non-basketball player will really take your game to another level as long as you can stay safe. But yeah, so I didn't really grow up in a sports family.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't even really watch sports. And my mom only cares because I care. And, and my brother cares because he has kids who play sports now. The only sports was just what am I doing? Yeah. And so I had a cousin who was really big in basketball, and he kind of helped fuel that passion for it. But really what really made my love for basketball stick and grow was probably just the times my dad would just take me to my middle school, and we had an outdoor court with the triple rims. Yeah. And we would just play horse, play pig, play one-on-one, shooting around the world. And so I look back, my dad, we were looking through the old hundreds of boxes of old pictures. One of them was my dad. He was former military. Okay. So there's this picture of him on the base, and he's elevating up, shooting a shot. I have to show it to you. And he's getting up off the ground. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I'm like, okay, Dad. I'm looking at his shot, and I'm like, that's my shot. Oh, the high release point, up here. Yes. I mean, everything. And I was it made me emotional because I was just
that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I was cool. Oh my God, that's exactly how I shoot the ball. Because someone asked me that. I think it was Nate Robinson actually, run random summer when I was helping Kelsey train for the 3-on-3 Olympics or whatever she was doing. And he asked me, he was like, who taught you how to shoot? And I was like, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, my dad. Yeah. Now that I realize it was a little bit of we love you, so we're going to support you, but we're going to put people in your atmosphere who can actually help you basketball, because that's not us. Yeah. But there were things where little moments too. I was like, Dad, I want to dunk the ball. I was some 7th grader. I'm I was probably 5'11" in the 7th grade.
Yeah,
but
you had a dream.
I was like, Dad, I want to dunk the ball. And he was like, oh, okay. I know what it was. I just saw Candace Parker dunk. So to go from that's who I want to be to being her teammate at the Sparks. Oof. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah. So I was just committed. So I just saw her dunk at Tennessee, and I was like, Dad, I want to dunk. And he was like, okay. So he went and bought me some ankle weights and put some tape at the top of the garage and was like, jump up there and touch that 100 times.
Wow.
And I was just so every day I would just be out there. And the most I got, I think in high school, I was able to dunk a tennis ball. But
that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, just little moments like that where I just had the support, anything I wanted to try. Me and my brother were sitting there watching the BMX bike show. Yep. I never rode a bike in my life. I was like, I want to ride bikes. I want to ride a BMX bike. And he was like, okay. So went and got me a BMX bike, no train. I got on it, fell off a few times, went straight down into the carport and hit the back wall because I didn't know how to brake. But probably about an hour and some change later, and a few cuts and bruises,
sure.
I was riding that bike, jumping off little dirt hills, and so me and my brother were outside. So didn't come from a big sports family, but supportive and all right, whatever you want to do, you guys do it. Same thing with my brother. They supported him all the way through. My brother auditioned for The Voice, and and so they've just always been supportive of whatever we wanted to do. They had 2 kids who were going obviously in 2 totally different directions.
Absolutely.
But no, they've always just been supportive, and I think that's allowed me to just be who I am and what I want to do.
I think it's amazing for everyone to hear that story, listeners and everyone, because we live in such a different era with everyone having a trainer, and a lot of parents are pushing them to do those things. And I think it's very cool. I mean, God put you on this earth for a reason.
Right. Amen.
And obviously for hoops, it's one of very little reasons why I think God put you here. And now you're using that for a vehicle to mentor so many other people. But it's really cool to hear that story, because I didn't know that. And it's cool to see that you just love something and you went for it. And you have parents and a family that, without even knowing them, you can clearly tell it's a supportive family that just want to do and be there for each other in the ways that you need. So that's very cool. Thank you for sharing. That's amazing. Tell viewers, what are some of the sacrifices that you had to do that people don't really know that you're making to become who you were with the situation? I mean, you go from Federal Way, your career is something that people dream of.
Right. Yeah.
And just to be honest, it doesn't matter if you're boys, girls, it doesn't matter though. You don't get to those levels just by waking up and just thinking I'm going to make it.
Yeah,
you know?
Obviously, I think the biggest sacrifice was time. I joke with a lot of my players now because I didn't go to a single dance in high school. I went to, my brother made me go to my senior year homecoming. And so but other than that, I was you guys, all these other people are busy, gyms open open.
Yep.
This is the time. There's
Yeah.
no distraction. It's a free space. And so like that's how I chose to spend those nights.
Yep.
And I don't regret it. I didn't do anything in high school. Like you would probably even consider me, you know, a square, right? Like I'm like, I did nothing. I had teammates who partook in, you know, substances and
Absolutely.
different things like that. Obviously, we all have our own journeys.
Sure.
But just like, you know, there were just so many different things going on around me that I just didn't have any interest in. But I tell some of my girls, I'm like, go to the dance though. Like, because I look back and I'm like, I hear all my friends talking about like, oh, my senior prom or this and that. And I'm like,
yeah, I was in the gym.
yeah, and it's like, I don't have regrets.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I think I would do it the same way all over again, maybe attend maybe one like per year or something.
For sure.
But yeah, I think time. A lot of times friends, like I said, they're going out, they're doing this, they're doing that. Oh, I'm in the gym, I have weights, I have this, I have shooting, I have whatever it was taking at that time to continue to grow my game. And then like physically, right? Like the body, still dealing with that today. And to tie it all in, I recently it was MLK weekend. I was house sitting for my partner's mom and dad. They live 5 minutes from us.
Yeah.
And I like was just chilling on the couch, watching TV, and like I went to stand up and I literally couldn't walk.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, right knee, huge. I don't know. I don't know why. And so it was like that for 3 or 4 days. And then finally started to get some range of motion back. It loosened up a little bit. And so I was able to go put you in places, right? So I'm very blessed to be a part of the Seattle Prep community. And they are very amazing, kind, caring parents in my program. And they hooked me up with some of their doctor friends and things like that, just to get me like appointments, right? Because when I try to call, they're like, oh yeah, we'll see you in like 9 months. And I'm like,
I can't do that.
no. So, you know, they make phone calls and things like that. And so was very blessed and lucky to be able to get in with the doctor initially to get an x-ray just to see what's going on and to get a MRI. And so I did that. It was senior night at prep. We were in the back gym celebrating and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, I got to go. Because I had to go do an MRI. Who knew they did MRIs at 11 p.m.?
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
So I went over there and it's very relaxing actually, like just headphones and just vibe out. And that was probably like my 18th MRI in my life. And yeah, so come to find out, both my meniscus are torn. How? Couldn't tell you. I haven't played basketball in a while.
Oh my goodness.
I have fluid behind my right ACL. I've had arthritis since I was like 18, but like it's really, really bad. I'm bone on bone. There's like no cartilage. I have a cyst on my right, like patella, like anything that could be wrong in my knees right now is wrong. So basically they summed up, you have 2 total knee replacements in your future. And I'm like, okay. And they said we could do it now. And I'm like, first of all, no, too busy. Too busy. And I'm like, what like are the quick fixes, right? And so like obviously supplements, weight loss, strengthening, diet, all these different things, right? Injections, which I've done all of those.
I've done a lot of those.
I've done all of those to PRP where they take out your arm, spin it, put it back. Like I've done it all. And so I was like, okay, well, so I did what I do sometimes. And I was just like, just threw the knees behind me and I've just been trucking along the last 2 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy that that's my reality. But and so I was crying, I was all upset. Absolutely. You know, my family have a group chat, so I'm texting them and they're all sorry and you know, we're praying and stuff like that. And then my dad goes, but like once you finish crying, like and you get out of this, remind yourself, sometimes the things we love cost us and ask yourself, he's like, and I probably already know the answer to this, but would you do it all over again?
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. Without a hesitation. I was like, I would do some things differently.
For sure.
Hence why I got into coaching.
Yeah.
But I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
I had a knee surgery every summer at UW. I had my first one in high school. I had my last one, which actually was why I decided to walk away from the game when I was in Sweden. And I was just like, 5 knee surgeries. I just I want to be able to like walk and run when I'm 40, which is like around the corner for us. And I can't do that right now.
Yes.
So I've got some work to do. But yeah, it's just basketball can take a lot. But I always ask my girls, what are you willing to do?
Yeah.
Because you hear the saying, what you get out, what you put in. And that's true. But like, it's a little deeper than that.
Way deeper.
Because it's like, you could put in a little bit and be okay with getting a little bit out. So like the question is a little bit deeper for me. It's like, what are you willing to do?
Yes.
Like I made the joke, I started singing the Rihanna song to them and they were like, oh God, coach is so cringe. I told them, I was like, look, think about Renton.
Yeah.
Think about Washington. Think about the Pacific Northwest. Think about this half of the state, the country, then the whole country, then the world, because I had a foreign teammate every season at UW. Like the world. So you're standing in this, you are like this big. What are you going to do to stand out? What are you going to do to separate yourselves? What are you willing to do? And so I was willing to do clearly a lot, and I got a lot out of the game. I'm so thankful to God for the gifts that he gave me. I mean, not everybody gets to be 6'2", so I got a little bit of a head start there, right? Sure. And, I just am very thankful, very blessed. And like to my dad's point, I would do it all over again.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tell me about your experience. Let's go to UW and let's talk about from freshman year. Like you said, I didn't know you had knee surgeries and those things after that's a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Mentally, especially.
Yeah.
When you're playing at the level that you're playing at and that your team is, there's a lot of pressure, and there's a lot of expectations that, yes, this is what you want. This is what you signed up for. Yeah. But we're human. And I don't think people talk about that enough. The anxiety, the pressure that you feel inside your chest. There's always that kind of feeling in your tummy is always good before you actually go out there. But before all that, there's a lot of preparation that you're doing. I would love for you to kind of just talk about the things that, you've learned, or maybe things you would suggest to people when they are in these moments. Right now we're almost to the Final Four right now for the women. So it's these people are feeling these types of things. Any advice you have or talk about that journey?
I never actually got the chance to play for the coach who recruited me to UW. Tia Jackson recruited me and signed with her. And then a few months later, they had fired her. And so I had a moment to think about what do I want to do? Recruitment's back open. I had schools calling again. And I'm like, this is the commitment I made. And what really actually sold me on UW was she asked me on my recruiting trip, she's like, where do you see yourself on your worst day? I think everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong all in that same day. Where do you see yourself? And the first thing that came to mind was 20 minutes away from my mom.
Absolutely.
Big mama's girl, proud of it. And my family, got my first nephew, this is home. And then another reason, myself, Jasmine Davis, who came in with me in that same class, and Amina Williams, we were all chatting and got connected, and I was like, no, UW used to be dominant, and let's get back to that. Let's see if we can be a part of that shift. And so we all decided to stay and go to UW. We had Kevin McGuff came in and took over for Tia, and then he got his dream job at Ohio State. And so then it was okay, Mike Neighbors came in, and then there was a lot of changes happening. But I think that's inevitable, right? It's life. That's one of the biggest transferable skills I feel is change management and understanding okay, there's going to be something new, something different, something uncomfortable, but understanding that that's what a basketball game is. I go from making a three to missing a shot to turning it over to making a free throw to, it's just, there's going to be all the ebbs and flows. And so I think that really helped prepare us for some of these moments. And then I think, we didn't even make it to the NCAA tournament until I redshirted my freshman year because I had a knee surgery, came back, played in one preseason game and was I don't feel like myself. I don't want to waste a year. So I ended up redshirting. My junior year, my redshirt junior, we made it to the tournament. We lost to Miami in the first round. That was the first time we had been to the tournament in a very long time.
Absolutely.
So obviously there's some wins in that we felt we did something, right? And so I was a little bummed, obviously, having that extra year to do what we did that season, go to the Final Four and do all that stuff, to not have, Jazz and Amina with me. But they were so key to that, right? Kelsey got to be under Jazz for a year. For those of you who don't know, Jasmine Davis, look her up.
Yes.
They were a part of that. I know they didn't get to actually be there and experience that, but just that belief that we had in ourselves. I remember I'll go straight to senior year. Yeah. I started in the Pac-12 tournament actually, beat Colorado, and then we were going to play Stanford, beat Stanford, which was huge. And then we're so we're all looking at each other in the locker room hold on, wait a minute. We always believe in ourselves, but wait, it's happening, it's here. And then we ended up losing by a shot in the quarterfinals to Oregon State. But we knew we had done enough in that season. And Coach Mike Neighbors, big numbers guy. We always knew our RPI or data or who had to do this. We knew it all. And so he always prepared us to just mentally think the game too and not just come out and play it. And so we knew we had put ourselves in a good spot, especially after getting back into the tournament last year. And so, then it gets to the whole scene of selection show day. And then you see your name, you see Washington on there and you're oh my God, it's here, it's happening. So obviously we're all turning things up 10 notches, right? We're all on the court 5 minutes earlier than we already were getting on the court. Everybody was so locked in. I just remember our coach, our motto that year was one. It was just one thing at a time, one game. He even got to the point where he started breaking down one quarter, just win the quarter. Yeah. And so that's something I've stolen from him. But,
I love that.
Win the quarter, win the one, just one thing at a time. And so, we step out on the court at Maryland to play Penn State, win that game, which we were pretty, for us, it was just win the first game, win the first game, get past last year. And so once we won that, we were, feeling good, excited. But then it was Maryland at Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if anyone has ever been to that state, been there, played there, but it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And so we step out on the floor and just balling. Yeah. I mean, Chantel was guarding, I want to say Brianna Johnson, I believe her name was. I might be messing that up, but I think she's still in the WNBA right now. Like, I'm hitting threes. Kelsey's doing what Kelsey does. Like, it was just like, it was crazy. And so then after that game, that was the real moment in the locker room. Like, I think because they did video,
absolutely,
had episodes and stuff like that. And it's really fun to actually go back and watch those sometimes because we were lit.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't tell us nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we were God's gift to basketball.
I love it.
That day or for that stretch. And so, and then our coach, we had the option to just keep staying on the road. And he was like, no, like, we have a routine. So like we flew back to Seattle. And we were playing on the East Coast the whole time. Oof. So like we flew back to Seattle and then would practice. And then we flew to Kentucky for a Sweet 16 Elite 8 and had Kentucky at Rupp Arena. I had 30 that game. The hoop was the size of the Pacific Ocean. And I was confident. I was talking to Matt.
Did you feel that like going into it?
Like I was like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win this basketball game.
Yes.
Like, and coach found me, he got me going early. He liked the matchup. They put their point guard on me, which was like a little disrespectful. But I was like, thank you, because it's felt like a little easier. And I just felt like I could do whatever I wanted. Yeah. I was attacking the rim. I was hitting the mid-range. I was shooting threes. I was getting and ones. I got to show the bag of like my back down, my turn, the fadeaway, like my signature to over either shoulder, like the double bump. Yeah. Like it was just everything. I don't know. I was just playing basketball. Like it just felt like a kid playing basketball again.
That's amazing.
And then after we won that game, super excited, Elite 8, here we come. And then we see Stanford. And like, I feel like Stanford, and obviously you can't say anything bad about Stanford.
Absolutely.
Like the weight that their name carries, all of that stuff, to us, he said, we just beat y'all. Yeah. Like, let's run this back.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, like we know what to do. So like we were very excited to play Stanford again. So then to beat them in the Elite 8 was just kind of like.
Expected almost.
It was like, we know what we need to do.
Yep.
So then we fly back to Seattle and it's all the practices, recovery. We're doing some in-season stuff, weights, all that stuff. We had a phenomenal team of just like trainers and everybody we needed. We fly back and now we're in Indianapolis. So that's like as far east as we could go. That was actually my first time in first class though, because we got to charter to every trip. So that was really cool. But I'm like, maybe I'll get first class again someday. There's a lot of experiences that I had was on UW's dime. Hey. So we're in Indianapolis and then it's just the show. Like I walk into the hotel that we're staying at and there's my face.
Oh, wow.
On this like 40-foot pillar, just like in the middle of and I'm like,
how amazing.
And me and my cousin, we're all taking pictures in front, right? We're all having, and so the NCAA paid for the parents to come out to the Final Four.
Oh, wow.
So I remember sitting there that night before we left with my mom and dad in the apartment, like, here's how you do this, like book these flights. Like I got them all set up and like, that was a moment. Oh my gosh, I'll have to show you this video of my mom. I hit a 3 and my mom is just like, they put the camera, I'm like, so there's this little 5'5" Thomasina just on ESPN, national television, just like, that's my baby, you girl, like, yeah, girl, play your game, babe. Like just going insane. And I'm just like, and then there's my dad.
Again.
Yeah, like my dad's just sitting there like this. My parents are polar opposites. My dad's like, my mom's like, so they were getting a kick out of my mom and they're like, Thomasina, that's my girl. Like, so back to the show of it all. Like you get there, you have a lot of practice times, but it is like they take the starting 5, you go get makeup, everything, hair, whatever you need. And you were basically going and filming commercials. Like we're filming our intro videos where we scream in the camera and flex. Like, we're doing all that. Then they sit you in a room and like, it's just like this big like interview room and we're all on one side. It's the starting 5 and coach. And then it's just like reporters and videographers, photographers, like all around. And then, but like directly across from you, Rebecca Lobo. The people, the voices we hear and see in WNBA and NCAA games are like sitting directly across from you and they're asking you questions because they need their content, their talking points, right? And so that's what was my first experience of like someone being kind of like they need stuff to talk about nationally because I don't know how, but like prior to the Final Four, I want to say maybe it was right after the Pac-12 tournament and Kelsey and I had a talk.
Yeah.
we sat down and we had a really good conversation. And I just remember, obviously there were moments where the conversation got heated, and it was basically like her telling what she needs from us and me telling her what we need from you, like in order for us to like do what we think we're all capable of doing this postseason. And we missed like half of practice, and it was just two passionate people who cared about the game, cared about each other, care about our teammates, this university. Like there was just so much passion, and it got pretty intense, right? And it's like, I'm like, you need to use us. Like you can't do this alone. And she's like, and I need you guys, so it was just like this whole conversation. And our coach called us and was like, where are you guys at? And I remember we both, I don't know if we screamed like, well, be right there, or leave us alone, or something like that. It was film. They had started film without us. Like he got off the phone and he was probably like, we can start. So then we come back down, like right as they're walking out to go into the court for practice, and like everybody's looking at us and we're like just smiling, like hugging, and they're like, okay. And then this practice was like, everything was on point. The ball was moving. The ball was like, everybody was touching it. Everybody was like, and it was just, there's all these little moments that like are behind the scenes, right? That people don't know. Like there's a lot of the good stuff, the fun stuff. We had like an open practice at Indiana's.
Oh, the Pacers?
Yeah. And it's funny because Paul George was my favorite player back then. So I was just having all these little moments where I'm like, in these spaces, I'm like, this is nothing but God. Yeah. So like UW, that's just like the run to the Final Four. There's so much like as far as like the preparation. I mean, I always joke with kids, we're like, oh, we have to run. I'm like, oh, sweetheart.
You have no idea.
Sweetheart. I'm asking you to run a set of lines in 32 seconds. Oh, like, because you don't want to be like an a-hole sometimes, but you're kind of like.
But sometimes you got to be like, okay, hang
you
on.
have no idea. And you say you want to play at that level?
Yes.
Okay, I will be the bearer of bad news. I will be the messenger, happily, because what are you willing to do? Because I remember very vividly coach being like, somebody has to finish a 17 in a minute. Just one of you. And so we all looked down. I don't know if you're familiar with the Kingma family, but Kelly Kingma was on the team at the time when we were like,
You're the one.
You're the one, because that girl can run like just miles, marathons, right? She had to lap me at least twice. Like she was just zooming in. I think she got it in like 58 seconds.
Ooh, wow.
And it was one of those moments where you like pick her up and we're like,
absolutely.
And it's just like, wow, but you don't want to run a set of lines?
No.
And I'm like, and in high school for me, a set of lines was 28 seconds at least.
And
so I'm giving you guys 4 extra seconds. And it's just like, and so you don't want to feel like this meanie, right? But you're kind of like, cry me a river.
Absolutely.
So UW was phenomenal. Super blessed, super thankful for that experience. Again, everything just keeps coming back. It's like, I would do it again.
I love that. I think what the coolest thing for people to understand, I think now being a coach, the conversation that you and Kelsey had, I think that's what people don't understand of what makes a great team. If players are willing to sit down and hash it out, because it always ends up good. Even though you might be pissed off in the situation in the moment, but you feel so much better. You two are on the same page. You walk in that practice, probably had the best practice you had all year, and then all of a sudden now look at you done something that UW's never done. So I think that's a cool story, because lots of lost art in our game. I think players are uncomfortable probably because of the phone and the texting, but they're uncomfortable to say, hey, this is my side of how I feel. Let me hear your side. Now, how do we get on the same page so we all have the same mission? We want to go win. That's it. We want to go do things that this school's never done. So let's get on the same page. So thank you.
They try to spin it as if it was like, oh, did you guys get in a fight? We was like, all right, listen, we got something. We was like, no, here's what happened. And they mentioned it on national television, of course. What that reminded me is like, and I think thinking back to that moment and then like where I am today, because I feel like it's a mix of like protect your peace, but then also like, I'm a very non-confrontational person.
Absolutely.
Like I think I've been in positions where I think people see like my size.
For sure.
Maybe even with my color.
Like,
and think like,
Absolutely.
oh, she's mean, she's this, she's aggressive. And I'm like, that's even been in like work settings, the angry black woman in the room. Like, and so I've been in all those moments, but like, I don't mind being confrontational. It's just not I choose not to. And so if you cross me, I'd rather just never speak to you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
that's simple.
I have to question myself. Is that like the healthiest way? And in some instances, yes. And in some, no, right? Like to the point of like, okay, if it's a priority to be in alignment, like if it's something we have to do in order to have any success, whether it's me to a parent about their kid or me to a kid about your future or whatever it is, right? Like a little confrontation's okay.
It is.
Like it is literally okay. Like I love Kelsey to death. Like whenever she's in town, I try to see her. She came, the storm came and like they played the storm. We got to see her. Like the relationship is maybe actually even tighter because there is a mutual respect of like you care about me and I care about you. And I think that's the problem. Like today, nowadays, like people think everything's going to be so like sweet and sugar coated. And I'm like, no, some of it has to be real raw and gritty and sometimes uncomfortable, and you're feeling like you're in a furnace, like, but what comes out of that, right? Like the coal, then there's a diamond. It's
a bar there.
Man, right?
It's a bar there.
I'm like, you gotta go through the heat a little bit. And I think parents are trying to avoid the heat for kids.
Yes.
And I'm like, my mom, not only does she bring her own heat.
She gonna watch you be in the fire.
But she, Buck, like that was my AAU coach.
Mm-hmm. There's no sugarcoating.
No, you want about fire.
Yes.
Like, and that was 8th grade playing 17U. Yes. Like, so I'm not only am I this really immature, sensitive little baby, then I have this man like telling me back then, right? Like, you ain't gonna do shit. Like, you ain't ever gonna be like, and so in that moment, me and my team, who all went to play Division I basketball, all 12 of us. Yeah, like, that's amazing. Yeah, we're like, okay, bet. Yeah. Like, I had older people that I looked up to, Shanice, Sarah Hallis, all those guys were out. They were seniors, juniors, and I'm playing up with them. And I remember one time he got on me after a game because I didn't shoot the ball. And I was like, that's probably why I'm a gunner now. But but he like was on me, and I just remember I was sitting there bawling, like hysterical, like snot, like the whole thing. And like afterwards, he was like, "Why are you crying? Why?" But he just didn't let up. Like the tears wasn't like it was like, oh, even more. You want to be soft? I got something for that. Like it was just, and like afterwards we get back to the hotel, and the girls I were rooming with, they were the older ones. They were like, "Girl, the next time he come at you like that, look him dead in his face and just have no expression. Yeah. Like just be straight faced, keep your chin up, keep your chest out, like stand there, take it, whatever." And so like I took that to a bit of an extreme because the next time he yelled at me, I was like, and I was like, ooh, is that not what they meant?
I tried it.
Yeah, I was like, my bad. Okay, let me
next time.
somewhere in the middle. Got it. More neutral. But yeah, it just helps you build that tough skin. And I think that's just not where we're at today. Yeah. There's been some adjustments there, right? Having to figure that out. Like, we cannot coach how we were coached.
Not even close.
And it's kind of funny because I'm like, well, I went D1 into WNBA, so something worked, right? But it's like, no.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I credit a lot of those people, those moments, those experiences to just kind of that toughness and some of those things we have to carry through with us, like every day. Like you said earlier, basketball is the vehicle. Yeah. But you got to be down for the ride.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So.
Did you ever feel that your identity was tied to your performance of who you are?
Yes, but this is kind of the backwards way though. Okay. Like I feel like a lot of times people like have a bad game and would, think that's who they were. Right. I was the opposite. Like I would have a great game and be like,
that's who I am.
Exactly. Period. That's it. That's me. And then anything less than that was just like, oh, that's a one-off. That's an anomaly. Like
absolutely.
I know that's not who I am. So like, I didn't really let those sink in too much. But I had a really, really bad like 6-game shooting slump my senior year. I think it was like a lot of the pressure of like, oh, I could identify scouts in the stands, and like, I wanted to perform. Like the WNBA started to become like a real thing for me. Like absolutely. I was like, oh wait, like I can actually.
You can do this.
I could do this. Yeah. Like, and so I think a lot of the pressure just started to weigh on me, and so I had like a really bad shit, like so bad, like the Seattle Times wrote an article on like how bad I was playing. The future of the Huskies is in jeopardy. My right. My professional stock is going down. Like all this stuff. And so I just remember like in those moments not thinking that like, oh, they're right. Like, no, I just got back to work. And so my coach, Morgan Valley, and Adia Barnes, and aside from my coach, Kevin Morrison, rest in peace, those three probably had like some of the biggest impact on me, because when I was going through that, they're like, Jim, let's get it. Or like I'm like calling them like, hey, you guys good? They're dropping whatever they're doing. We're getting extra shots up. But they're also like pouring into me, right? And so that's kind of where, after I stopped playing, I kind of started to get into this world of like training, coaching, like all that stuff. And Make It Happen was like the original, it was going to be the nonprofit, it was going to be the name, it was going to be everything, right? The brand. And that stemmed from, during that slump, I was in the gym shooting with him, and they were like, T, you've already possessed everything you need to go be a pro. Absolutely. Like you have the skill set, the height, like you have it all. Like that's not what it is. Like you just have to like go make it happen. Yeah. You have to forget about like all the missed shots, all the this, all of that, rip that article up. Like you have to just focus in, like refocus and just make it happen. And so that was kind of where that came from, because then obviously you saw like the trajectory of how things went for me my senior year from that point forward. But yeah, I just feel like I always just kind of knew. And I mean, my parents pour into me all the time. And, being a big person of faith, like I feel like God, he doesn't bring you only so far to leave you there. Like he has a plan, and there's going to be bigger and greater than we could ever imagine. Right. And that's just not like our little basketball, right? Like
Absolutely.
there's a bigger plan in play. But for basketball, it was like, okay, I'm like, look at where I am today. And he's been so good. Like, why would this be the end of my story? Like, make that make sense with all the miracles and things that we see in the day-to-day life. Like, how could this be where it ends, right? And so that was just kind of like the confidence boost, relying heavy on my faith. But also just, I was kind of that kid who I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm really good at basketball, but I wasn't outwardly confident.
Right.
Like, I actually did struggle a lot with like confidence growing up and still do to this day, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know, maybe imposter syndrome is probably a better way of saying it, right? Because like, I really appreciate everything you said when we first started in the opening, and like, hearing it is always so uncomfortable for me. You'll probably see it. I'm probably just sitting here like, I'm like, edit that part out. But like, it's just, I don't really like to talk about myself. I don't really like to hear about my accomplishments, but like inside, please believe I have all 8 threes that I made in the Final Four, that clip. I have that on my phone.
Absolutely.
I have some of my best games in my phone, or like the highlight reels where I can just go back and look at them and be like, that's who you are.
Exactly.
Like, and I do that today, like not because obviously I still am that player, just physically, it's not.
Mentally, it's all there though.
Here and in here. It's there. The make it happen, the pouring into me, the people I had around me, my faith, and then just like understanding that like, I put a lot of work in to be as good as I am. I sacrificed a lot of time, a lot of experiences to be where I am. So like, I'll be darned if I let like a bad game or even like 5 bad games. Because in reality, those are like drops in buckets, right? Over the course of my career, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many games I've played, but like drop in a bucket. I don't even remember those games. I just remember one was at Cal Berkeley. I don't know why I remember that one so vividly. I was like 2 for 20. It was really bad, but I think that was the last one. And then like it turned from there. So maybe that's why I remember it. But I'm like, I don't remember those games. But I can tell you all my 30-point games and my record-setting games and my career block that I got to make me the #1 shot blocker in UW history. Like, I can remember the good. So why would I sulk on the bad? It's spilled milk. Just go pour a new glass.
Absolutely.
Like, that's the way my brain works. I've always been like a solution-based person. Like, I have people in my life who like when something goes bad, they're like, oh my God, like that SpongeBob meme where everything's on fire and they're running around. And I'm like, okay, like something bad happened. Sure, that sucks. We would prefer that didn't happen. But like, how do we fix it? And so like, that was just my mentality. Like, after a bad game, how do I just make sure that doesn't happen again? Like, watch the film, work on the skill set,
get better,
make the investment, just get better. So kind of flip. I always let my good moments determine who I was. Like, not the bad.
I love that. Hoops is over with. Now I want people to know what you're doing now, what you're about. I want everyone to know where they should go because, I'm an AAU guy too, but I respect everything that you do to a high level. You're amazing at what you're doing. So
I appreciate that.
Please let everybody know.
I mean, it's right here. Team Walton is the AAU. If I go back, like, I remember being in Sweden. I had just hyperextended my knee like really bad in practice, and I was like, oh, something's not right. So I had an MRI out there, and they were like, oh yeah, your meniscus is torn. Like, do you want surgery here? And I was like, no. I'm like by myself here. No, absolutely not. Now that I'm older, European medicine is actually really good. We probably should have just got out there. But I was like, no, I'll go home. Like, so I came back, had the surgery, and I just remember feeling like, oh, I don't want to go as hard in rehab anymore. This is old. This is played out. And just had a lot of those thoughts and conversations with people in my life. So I was like, but I'm going to go back. Like, I made a commitment. I'm going to go back. So I went back, flew back to Sweden, got into practice. And it's like, after every practice, my knee was a balloon. Like, and so then I have to ice for hours. And then, then it would go back down. And then the next day, the next practice, or sometimes there's 2 practices in a day. Like, I remember just like, maybe I wasn't thinking necessarily walking away from the game, but I was thinking about like, what's next? Because I felt like that was probably pretty much sooner than I anticipated and preferred for myself. So I was like thinking about like, okay, well, like I've always been really passionate about kids and like their development. When I was at UW, there's this Stu Mitchie, he has this like organization that he runs. It's called One-on-One Basketball. And it's like basically in the North Seattle area, but he would always have camps, clinics. He had contracts with all the like Seattle community centers and stuff. And I would do that every summer. Like I was always running camps, playing, all that stuff. And then, when it was basketball specific, I'd be out there helping training kids, but like fundamental stuff, right? Dribble through this cone, dribble this hand, like, very young age. And I would do that in off season, summer, all that stuff. And so I was like, wow, like, I really do enjoy working with kids. I always told people, I was like, I actually don't really like adults. I'm like, you guys had your chance and this is what you came up with. Like, let's focus on the youth and try to help them just get to whatever is next for them. And so knew I was always passionate about, obviously, basketball. I grew a love for like ultimate frisbee and random sports for that kind of stuff, like through those camps. But basketball, kids, community, really heavy on like the nonprofit side. Like I feel like God put me here to serve. And so like anything I could do where I'm serving people. So I was just like thinking about it, I'm like putting all that stuff together. And I was like, oh, like a nonprofit or coach or like, something like that. And so that was kind of how that started. And then obviously once I made the difficult decision to walk away, came back and immediately tried to figure out how to get involved. Started coaching with the Greyhounds, training, like a lot of people wanted to train and just get in the gym one-on-one. So I'm at parks. At first it was Talia Walton basketball. And then like after like a couple of years, I was like, I never really liked it initially because I need to put my name on it. Like that's weird. Like for me, like, right. I don't want to like have to be like, yeah, I'm Talia Walton, you know? And so I like pivoted from that to Limitless Basketball Academy, which is what I have now. And Limitless kind of stems from, I actually have it tatted right here, with God in it, there is no limit. And so kind of like back to your purpose over points things, like he's got to be the center. He is for me, and everything I do, I feel like if it's not serving others, if I'm not feeling Christ-like in the thing I'm doing, then like that's how I always can decide how I want to move moving forward. And so I've just made the investment, poured a lot into it. You know, here we are. I had my first Team Walton team, I want to say 2023. Yeah, I like a DYS team. Like I had kids who were faking my shoes untied and you know, to get out of running or can't dribble with their left hand. And so, but I was just like, you know, I just want to, let's just get started, you know, like why not? Like, I don't care. You don't have to be amazing at basketball for me to help you. That's not, and I think that's the culture we live in. But can you take somebody from like their first time touching a ball to college? Then that's when I'll be like, oh, you got it. You figured it out. It's a lot easier, obviously. And let's be real, like all coaches want to be able to just be like, oh, you're like a D1, D2, D3 kid. Come on over. Like, for sure. But don't get it twisted. Like that's a small bucket, right?
So small.
And there's this huge ocean of kids who just are starting to form that love for the game or figuring out if they actually even want to play it, or if they like, you know, or even some of them just like the shape of the ball and the color and they want to bounce it, like, you know. And it's like, okay, well, like let's feed into that. Let's take that. Let me meet you where you're at and let's go from there. And so that's kind of how, you know, the first season started. But obviously I do have a big vision for my program for myself. Like I would love to help kids get to where, not only where I've been, but like just to the next level and show them. And it's more about just showing them how to do it and what it takes than it is anything else for me, because at the end of the day, it's your choice, right? The power of choice is so, I read books on that because I'm like, it really does dictate like our success, right? Like my dad always told us growing up, like do something today your future self will thank you for. And at that time we're like, you're just saying that so I wash the dishes or, you know, like you're like, okay. But now I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, that is so true. Like set yourself up for success. And so I mentioned it earlier, like if I could go back, I would do it again, but I would do so many things differently. For sure. Predominantly like taking care of your body. That's a huge one. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, I had all these thoughts. I'm like, how do I, on all these feelings, all these passions also, I'm like, how do I just put it together? So that's how we got to Talia Walton basketball, which shifted to LBA. And yeah, I've had Limitless LBA for probably like, it's been like that for like a year now. And yeah, so under that is like the training academy, right? The camps, the clinics, the work, the one-on-ones, the small groups, and then Team Walton, which is the competitive AAU girls basketball team. And yeah, I'm really excited. Like it's been a lot of work. We were joking when I first walked in about like high school versus AAU, because like high school, we have ADs who do a lot of that back end stuff for us, but AAU, it's like, you're doing everything. We're doing it all. I wear so many hats. I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer, I'm a mentor, I'm a therapist, I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. I'm whatever you need in that moment. And that takes a lot of time. It's a big commitment, but like totally worth it. And I would do it again. I feel like as I continue to learn and continue to build, and really lock in on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish here, you know, just grow, you learn. You figure things out on the fly. I haven't always probably been the world's greatest program director because of things I didn't know or whatever, you know, but I feel like, I think the families, and we have quite a few that have actually stayed with us from that day one till now. And it's so fun to just hear and talk to them. And they're like, it is amazing what you've done. Like how far you come. And I'm like, and so that's what we were talking about earlier. We're like, you got to take that step out, take a step back and like see big picture and be like, oh wow, like just take that moment to appreciate. But even in those moments, I'm like, ew, don't tell me that you like my program. Like, I'm glad you feel that way, but like, just feel that way. Because it just makes me feel like you're making it about me. And it's not. Yes, I understand that like we have these relationships. Like I have been so blessed. I could literally cry thinking about my coaching staff. Like, because not only are they my coaches, they're like my sisters, they're my best friends. I was very intentional when I started Team Walton. I was like, that was one thing I felt like was really missing from the game, specifically for young girls.
Absolutely.
Is female coaches. I'm like, yeah, sure, you could have a Division I former NBA guy be your coach, but he's never played girls basketball.
It's so different.
He's never played women's. And that's not to say that women and men's basketball is that different, but
sure, there's certain things. Speaking from a male, there's certain things that you know that I have no idea that I can't communicate with. So I'm 100% on the same page with you.
And so I was like very blessed. But I also wanted to be like, not just women, but like I want you guys to see yourselves. And because let's be real, not every girl's going D1. Like, and that's just the reality of it, especially in today's game. You know, maybe opportunities are less than they were.
Sure.
You know, you really got to be her and be different, right?
Yep.
But there's still so much other basketball to play. Like D1 is not it.
No.
Like it is D2, D3, NAI, NJCAA, right? There's so many different opportunities, community college, like whatever
They're
it
all
is.
good, too.
And I'm so like, I have coaches who have played at all those levels.
Yeah.
I have a community college, I have a D3, I have a D2, I have Division 1, I have multiple Division 1, I have a overseas pro, I have a WNBA pro. Like I've covered all the bases.
Yes.
And not only that, but like I have a white girl, I have a mixed girl, I have an Asian, I have a dark skin, I got a light skin, like I've got a little bit of everything. So like, you know, because I really do feel like if you look at my staff and you look at our girls, and if they stepped up and said, hey, I'm dealing with this, one of us is going to hear you.
Yeah.
And one of us is going to be like, oh, I've been there, let's talk. And so that was the biggest part of that as well. And I felt like that was missing from the game, and why I really started Team Walton in the first place was for that representation piece. I'll be honest, there's only like a handful of like male coaches in the girls AAU world that I talk to, even to like speak to. You, Micah Mitchell, that is my brother. Like there's not too many others because
they don't get it.
They don't get it.
They don't get
or what's your motive? Or why are you doing this? What's your purpose? Is it points? Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm like,
yes.
And it's not to say that I'm not someone who's like closed off or don't want to network, or if you're a
yeah,
man, you're
absolutely.
automatically bad.
Yes.
You know? Which I've had that, someone say that to me before, like, why wouldn't you not let a man? Why do you feel like you need to be here?
Exactly.
But thank you, because I told you you want to be here. But we got it. We're good. And I think that's something that definitely stands out to players, even players that don't like actually end up committing and coming over that I train or I have a relationship with. They're like, I really do rock with that. Like, that's so cool that you have all female staff. You know, I tell them, use them. Like, you don't have to play for me to have access to me. You don't have to play. Like, even if you've played for me and then left, and like,
you're always welcome.
Let's be real. How'd you leave?
Yeah. Yes. That is very true.
How'd you leave?
Yes.
Because if we're good, lifetime contract.
Yep.
That's a non-negotiable. You don't have to be in a TWB jersey in order for us to care about you, your success, your well-being. So yeah, I mean, I'm very blessed. It is very time consuming. It is very exhausting. There are a lot of sleepless nights at times. And it can even feel like a really thankless job. But I think just back to my faith too, the benefit of the doubt, like showing grace, like Easter's coming up. And I was just thinking about today in my prayer, and I was just like, wow, like I'm so like not deserving of anything that I have. But like the fact that someone thought I was to die for is like, I need to give that to other people as well. So like I try to give the benefit of the doubt to parents as much as possible, meet them where they are, understanding that there's things in their life, whether it's financial or just any stress that they might have that could be, because my mom always taught us the way people teach you is a reflection of them, not you. And I know she stole that from Maya Angelou, but like she really, you know, coined that in our house. She was like, Maya who? That was me, you know. It's so true, because I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, even on myself, right? Like I'm driving home from work. Someone cuts me off. If I choose to lay on my horn, that's a choice I made. And it's probably because I'm already tired. I'm already irritated. Like, because there's other times where someone cuts me off and I'm like, just get where you're going safely, you know? So I'm like, it's definitely like, where am I at today that dictates, you know, what the person cutting me off gets. And then that whatever version of Talia do you get that day. And so like, there just has to be grace, because there's days where I'm pouring from an empty cup. I'll just be honest.
Absolutely.
Like there's just days where I am at my wit's end, and then like my knee's giving out. Like this stress or that stress or whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, we got to like give the same grace, because maybe they don't deserve it, right? Maybe they act and stink. They're not speaking anymore. They're walking around. They're talking behind your back, whatever it is. That's between you and God.
Exactly.
And that's kind of back to the confrontation piece, because I'm like, that's a you thing. I can like,
I can't help you with that.
And so like, those are the moments where somebody's like, well, no, you should go check out. For what?
It's nothing to do with me.
Like, and give it a week, and they're gonna be like, hey, coach, like, so you're just like, just take it in stride.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just understanding that, if you're gonna do this work, then I know you can attest to it too. You gotta be about it.
Yeah, you do.
You gotta be about it, because you are gonna be tested, you're gonna be tried, but it sounds familiar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like basketball.
Yes. So. And as someone who is competition against on the court, everything, I can't speak highly enough about what you're doing. And if anyone's trying to find a good place, like I said, they are in amazing hands with not only you, but you have an amazing team. You have amazing coaches. You are absolutely doing it for the right reasons. God is definitely putting your pulse like all over the place, because when any of our teams play your program, we know what to expect. It's going to be high level. You've got a coach on the other side that cares. You've got people that are in it for the right reasons. You're not going to see the typical AAU world that you see out there when it's,
God forbid,
like we just talked about this past weekend, where there's 60 photographers and somebody makes a layup and everyone gets excited for the layup. Right. Like, okay. I know you don't like hearing it, but you need to hear it, because you deserve all the flowers because you are amazing at what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I can't give enough credit to what you've built. And I know it's just starting. And
Yeah.
you're going to keep going.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you're going to keep building. As we wind down, would you be able to give me just one word that would define your journey? And it's probably really hard, but.
Oh, yeah. Let me think. One word to define my journey. The first one that came to mind, I'll just say, was like resilient.
I was literally going to be like, if you don't pick something, I was going to pick that. Because it sounds very much so.
Yeah. What not a lot of people know, unless you're like my close people. And I don't really have friends. Like I have family. Like people, if we're that tight, like I call you sister, I call you brother, right? Like it's.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. And so I just feel like my whole life, like my mom has beaten cancer 3 times.
Oh, God bless her. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
God is
amazing.
good. She has had 3 failed total knee replacements.
Oh, wow.
So you can also, that's your why I'm hesitant.
100%.
I'm like, is that genetic? Because the knee thing
Yes.
clearly is. Yeah, she has really bad knees too. And just, life, relationships, ups, downs, wins, losses, success, failures, like all the things that happen to most of us. But there were some really heavy times, some really dark times, some really lonely times. I could just always remember, like, my mom is just like, not only is she like this firecracker, but she's a dog. Like she is like.
She sounds like it.
Like she is like, she's from Bakersfield, California, so her little country, little self. And like she lost her parents, both of them by the time she was 10.
Yep.
Like, so I didn't get to know those grandparents. I didn't get to know grandparents. Like these people, like my brother, my mom, my dad are like my everything. And so, but like my mom, just like the resilience she's had to show in her life from basically being an orphan to the things she's experienced in life, to the health concerns, to, like I said, the 3 failed total knees now. And it's like the 3 little bears thing. It's like one was too big, one was too small, and one just didn't fit. One was like knee body was rejecting it. So it was just like, she just never lost her spark.
Yeah.
My mom's like, she be outside. Like she does not like to sit at home and be bored and like sit around and do nothing. That lady has FOMO.
Yeah. Yes.
So bad. I was literally at my brother's house last weekend, I was telling you, and she calls my brother, and I was talking in the background. She's like, is that Talia over there?
Why am I?
And my brother was like, yeah, she just got here. And she was like, oh, well, y'all have fun.
Oh,
then.
the whole
like,
tone changed? It's like, oh, we pissed off Mom.
I was like, I can't come and hang out with my brother and just chill. And she was like, and you're making ribs. So like, she just always wants to be with us. We are her world. She is ours. But just like every season at UW, like I said, the knee surgery or something that would derail me, I would also be reminded, or the shooting slump. I was also just reminded of like, wow, if my mom can still go through all that she's been through and still be the light of the room, the rock of this family. Like, there's still fun and funny. And my brother calls her crazy lady. Like, she's everything. And like, I know she had hard times. Oh, when I tell you mama's girl, like that's not just like, oh, that's my girl, like let's go to lunch. Like, no, every surgery she had, I slept in the hospital. Like they would bring in bed in there or one of those chairs in there. Like it was summer training, and when she had her, they did like this experimental one to like go in there and zap some electric thing they were trying. And that was like right in the thick of like summer workouts. And I told my coach, I was like, look,
this is my situation.
He was like, why are you even asking me? Like, go. So I missed like 4 days straight because I just didn't leave her side. I showered there. When they brought her food, they would bring us food, but just to see her at her lowest and like actually be in those moments with her and then like see just the way she still carries herself. Like I just tell myself like, there's probably nothing I'm going to go through that I can't handle. Because I had the best example of like, life's going to punch you and kick you and spit on you. And it's going to like, it's going to feel really bad. But like you keep your faith in God, you keep him first, you trust his plan for your life, and you just continue to show up. And like, it looks different. Showing up every day can look different, and that's okay. But it's the fact that you showed up, you tried, and you're still fighting. And so like, that's just kind of where I got to in my life. I'm getting emotional now. My mom's literally my world. Like, I love it. So yeah, it's just be resilient, be tough. That's why I try to tell these kids too. Like, I promise you, one set of lines in the grand scheme of things, it's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be
life does not
water off a duck's back.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be and so like prove to yourself right now that you can do hard things. And like it's rare to be in a group of people and no one else had a hardship. Exactly. Like pour into the people around you, but also like let them pour into you. Like community is so key. But yeah, I just feel like you gotta be resilient. Absolutely. You gotta be resilient.
What's one thing that every hooper needs to hear?
Honestly, focus on the process. Not trust the process, right? Focus on the process. Big difference. Because trusting is just like, we blindly trust things every day. I blindly trust that car to stop. Yes. Yes. We blindly trust things every day. So not trust, focus on the process. And understand what the process is too, because I think we come into things having a certain expectation and it's not what we think it's going to be sometimes.
Yes.
So like really just focus on the process. Outcomes will take care of themselves.
Yes, they will.
Because you can't get to that outcome without the process first. I think we have too many people trying to jump. Yeah. And it's like, no, focus on the process.
Absolutely. That's powerful. As we wrap up, this is my last question.
Yeah.
And I love this. Is one of my favorite questions. If your life was a movie, what would the audience be screaming at you to change and to focus on right now?
Like, you got this. Like, you got this. Don't stop now. Don't turn back. Don't go in that room, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you've got this. Keep doing what you're doing. There doesn't need to be the second guessing, the doubt, the fear, the anxiety, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yes.
Keep going. Behind you is all those things.
Yep.
So like, don't look back.
Yes.
Don't look back.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, I
This has
appreciate
been
it.
Absolutely amazing.
I needed this. This was great.
You are, like I said, you need to embrace who you are because you are an amazing person.